Fair maiden, you stand at a crossroads, seeking answers. You stand on the line between life and death. May fortune find you and make your way clear, and may us that came before you offer our wisdom from our trials and mistakes, that you may learn and carry on. I am Dido. I was queen of Carthage. I was independent, powerful, and unfazable. I single-handedly built a nation, and I had grand plans for my people. I had no intention of ever sharing my throne, nor did I have any intention of sharing my attention. That was until Aeneas washed up. He was as close to being my equal as any man I had ever met. Even so, I blame the gods for intervening. I would never have neglected my people for a man, even such as him, if it were not for the wicked wiles of Venus. But alas, I fell in love. Oh, how far I fell. I dedicated everything I had, everything I knew to Aeneas. I thought he felt the same for me. We made promises to one another. I shared my life with him. In my eyes, we were all but married. Then he left me. He left like I was never anything to him, like it was easy. Did our promises truly mean so little? Was I so disposable to him? Who was he to set my heart aflame? But it matters not anymore. If he wished to leave, then by all means he could leave. What care ought I give? I am a queen. I never needed him at all. If he wishes to disown the wonders I have provided him, then may he go and never feel such comforts again. May his nights be cold and lonely, and may he never forget what he had left behind. I could not stand the notion that I could possibly be cast aside. A queen does not get left behind. I would not tolerate it. He caused such burning pain within my heart that I needed him to understand. I needed him to see the damage he had done, the pain he had dealt. So I burnt it all down. Every memory, every token, every piece of my soul that had ever loved him, I would burn the whole world down if I could, just to make him understand. Love is only warm until it burns you. And I am still burning. I am Penelope. I was the wife of godlike Odysseus. I had no promise, no guarantee that my efforts would ever pay off. But I had to try, even if there was only a chance. You see, when he did not return for many, many years, people said he was dead and that I should remarry. I had many suitors who pursued me, men who desired me solely for my connection to Odysseus. If I said yes to any of these suitors, then I would have to go with him to his home, bear his children. I'd be abandoning everything I had grown attached to. I was rather fond of being the wife of Odysseus. My Odysseus. Yet if I said no, I would be admitting that I had no intention of marrying any of these men, and would be forced to return to my father's home and be wed to another man anyway. Yes or no, the result would be the same. I was trapped. So I was clever, and I was careful. I came up with excuses. I could not possibly consider remarrying until after I finished weaving my morning gown, is what I told them. Then I would unweave it at night. They believed it. For a time. But I knew the day would come when I could hold out no more. I would have to remarry. I would have to leave. Leave the home of Odysseus. I would no longer be the wife of Odysseus. Betray my loyalties to Odysseus. Godlike Odysseus. My Odysseus. So I set up a competition. I swore that I would marry any man who could string Odysseus's bow, a feat only he had ever been able to accomplish before. It was my riskiest tactic yet, but I was running out of options. I figured if none of them could, then I have bought myself a little more time. And if one could, then at least I would be wed to a capable man. But he was there. Odysseus. My Odysseus. He won my hand like we were young again. He slaughtered every suitor like I was a prize so valuable to him that the mere thought of taking me away was a crime punishable by death. When I was certain it was truly him, I was so delighted. My patience had finally paid off. Once again, I was his and he was mine. I would leave the house, the fortune, the reputation. I would leave everything as long as I had him. Odysseus. My Odysseus. I am Antigone. I was the daughter of the unholy union of Oedipus and Jocasta. I don't know if my family was insane or if the gods simply hated us, My father was cursed to unwittingly wed his own mother and have children with her. My brothers fought for power after his death and ultimately killed each other. My uncle decided to only give one of them, Diocles, a proper burial. Polynices was left in the open to rot without sympathy. Uncle Creon forbade anyone to bury his corpse. For this, I could not stand. He was my brother, and I had a duty to him. I did not care what he may have done to deserve such a fate. I did not care what my uncle would think. I did not care for the law. I answered to a higher law, a law that forbids a sister from turning her back on her brother. So I snuck out. I covered my brother as best I could with what little time I had. It wasn't much, but at least his body would be honored. I asked my sister Ismene to join me, but she declined. I can't quite blame her. She chose to preserve herself rather than stand against our uncle. I never denied my actions. I confessed easily and boldly. Why should I show any shame in simply doing what I felt was right? What have I to act guilty for? I would rather die for what I believe than be right and live and abide by what is wrong. Ismene tried to join my efforts, but she was too late. If she was not willing to put her life alongside mine when asked, then she would not get to share my death either. I'm sure they would have put me to death. It would have looked weak if they had spared me after being so explicit about what would happen to anyone that dared disobey their unjust decree. But I admit, I did not wait to find out. It would seem that my family is in love with the Grim Reaper. We seem to be so impatient to dance with him that we cannot help but hurry along. Ismene was the sole survivor of our family's courtship with death. I am glad. Yet I do not regret my actions, not one bit. I stand by what I did and every word I said. If you came seeking advice, I am not certain I have much to offer you. All I can say is this. I was loyal. I was loyal. I was loyal. He trusted me. I trusted him. I trusted him. And I would do it again. No question. I would never make such mistakes again. I did do it again. Every day, for 20 years. And I would have done 20 more. Because he came back. He didn't come back. He was finally at rest. So be brave. Be loyal. Hold your ground. Be steadfast and be kind. Be honorable and confident. Don't put all your faith on another person. Hold to what is right, no matter what anyone else says. Refuse to be the pawn in someone else's game. If you can have the passion of Dido, if you can have the steadfastness of Penelope, if you can have the bravery of Antigone, then you will be greater than any of us. I was a queen. I was a wife. I was a sister. Remember us.